than, where she is now, which is mad as a box of frogs. So, I'm sure that'll change.
Yeah.
Sure that'll change moving forward. Okay. That's all the feedback and shout-outs, Mark.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look now.
Like I say.
No, fair enough. Let's take a look now at news then from around the world of rugby league. Okay, so to news from around the world of rugby league then, and we'll start this week in League One, where York City...
I'm cutting. Right.
Go ahead.
Because this story obviously is developed, so we're basically we're basically telling the story as it's happened since last Monday.
Yes.
To what we know still today, aren't we?
Yes.
So that's why some of it'll feel like it's really old.
Yes.
But it's not.
It's not. It's as current as we can possibly make it.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of people that get their rugby league news from us, Mark.
Okay.
We're a service to several people. York City owner John Guildford is set to hand over ownership of the League One club to former director Gary Dickinson. Dickinson is set to take over the Knights, giving the club a lifeline. Chairman Guildford released a statement. Chairman Guildford makes him sound like Chairman Mao, doesn't it? Chairman Guildford released a statement on Tuesday saying, "Today, the 25th of July, as owner of York City Knights since 2002, I wish to announce the handing over of the club subject to contracts to Gary Dickinson." Gary Dickinson CFast Limited as a virtually debt-free going concern that will allow the club to continue the season and compete in the Super 8s to hopefully gain promotion to play in the Rugby League Championship next season. In the 14 years from my initial involvement in the rescue package that resurrected professional rugby league in this city with the emergence of York City Knights, myself and my family worked hard to keep the club going on a sustainable, debt-free basis with a certain degree of personal funding injections that I made with no thought of return. However, since the club were evicted from Huntington Stadium to make way for City of York Council's community stadium project and the loss of the club's income streams with only partial covering by the council, despite previous assurances that the club would not be financially disadvantaged by this project, it has become much more difficult to operate the club and survive over the last 2 seasons, having largely relied on considerable financial input by myself. After Gary Dickinson CFast Limited expressed an interest in taking over the club, I have decided therefore to hand the reins over to them. York City Knights will be passed over virtually debt-free with the funding I provided in the form of a director's loan on the balance sheet not required to be repaid. That is my gift to professional rugby league in York, to give somebody else the chance to take the club forward with the best possible start. Furthermore, I intend to continue supporting York City Knights Foundation charity for the time being to ensure that the good work in the community continues. I hope that the new York City Knights administration have success both on the field and achieve promotion, and crucially enjoy greater success in dealing with other third parties in these matters to resolve the other much publicised issues. Dickinson has since denied that a deal to take ownership is imminent. Dickinson has previously been part of York City Knights' board of directors, but he stepped down as a result of disputes between other board members. The intentions are there and the will's there, and a lot of people are trying to back this and push it through, but there's lots of due diligence to be done, he told BBC Radio York. The word virtually is a very relative word. Is virtually £5,000 of debt or £150,000 of debt? The RFL then confirmed on Thursday that York City Knights have committed to fulfilling their remaining League One fixtures, saying Chairman John Guildford is looking for a buyer for the club and is currently in discussions with a potential purchaser, and to end any uncertainty whilst the necessary due diligence and legal formalities take place. He has confirmed that he will continue to run York City Knights during this period and will ensure that the team play all of their remaining 2016 fixtures. Guildford was then quoted as saying, "It has always been my priority to do what is best for rugby league in York. I want to end this period of uncertainty for the club whilst negotiations are ongoing by guaranteeing that I will ensure the club will fulfil their remaining 2016 fixtures. We are in contact with both York City Council and York City Football Club and hope they will assist us in arranging the fixtures as published by the RFL to be played in York. This is a proud club with a great heritage and a talented squad of players, and I will do everything I can to ensure that they're given the opportunity to win League One, starting this weekend in Toulouse." I didn't think it was possible to find a bloke who liked talking and the sound of his own voice more than I do, but I think this fella is just that, Mark.
I actually trimmed back both those statements as well.
I remember reading through this at lunchtime thinking this is going to be a battle. Have you not got any like RFL procedures for me to read out?
I think it's a good story and a big story though, isn't it?
Of course, yeah.
Whilst it's only a small club, it's important that we do what we can. I mean, the York City Knights have only been around for 15 years, but the rugby league in York has been around for much longer, and it's great to see. It seems like there's two people committed on some levels to making sure this is able to continue. Guildford has sort of maybe picked up his toys a little bit and kind of wants to do something good for the club in the short term, knowing that he's probably not the answer in the long term because of those issues with third parties that he can't seem to resolve. Whereas someone else might be able to work better within those parameters with other people, get along a bit better, get a good deal for the club going forwards, and that's a positive. So it's all very much better news than we had a week ago, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely so, and it is good to see clubs that are in financial difficulty finding some resolutions.
Gives you hope, doesn't it, Tyler?
No, it's the hope that kills you, Mark. You know that. Okay, Catalan winger Jody Broughton has signed a new 2-year deal with the club, tying him to the Dragons until 2019. Broughton, who joined Catalan at the start of the year from Huddersfield, is the top try scorer for the club, with 18 tries in 19 games this season. So good luck to him, and he's done well in his first season playing in a new country, I would say, Jody Broughton. A couple of niggly injuries to get over and bits and pieces, but I think he's turned out well for him, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he didn't start the season in sort of in selection, did he? And then he just fully justified his place once he got it, and it's been hard for them to put him out of the team. There was the game at Hull KR, wasn't there? Was that the 4-try game, or he scored plenty anyway, at least a hat-trick earlier in the season.
Yes.
When Catalan's attack actually fully clicked and the defence was strong too.
I remember them strong.
And it was a sign of what they could have been.
That away game at St Helens as well, early doors as well, he bagged a few in that one. So he's a good player and a good continued acquisition for Catalan Dragons.
That might be the one I was thinking of when he scored a hat-trick.
Yeah.
Either way, he's had a couple of really good games, and
I didn't immediately recall the Hull KR game, so I was assuming that you were right.
No, you might be right.
Who knows? Wakefield fullback Ben Jones-Bishop has signed a contract to stay at the Super League club until the end of 2017. I'm looking forward to being part of the club's progression next season, Jones-Bishop said.
Oh, this isn't the best James Bishop story from the week, though, is it? Or the most interesting, maybe?
I think you might have to fill me in. Go on.
Oh, did you not see the story about he was picked for drug testing after the Cup semi-final?
Oh, was he really?
But his missus was in labour and she'd been induced.
Right.
In Wakefield. Right. And he then had to rush back, obviously, to get there in time for the delivery.
Yeah.
But because he couldn't piss after the game.
Oh, they had to keep him up.
Yeah, he got held up, so he couldn't get over.
Oh, no.
Pretty frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah. He should have just done what Matey Boy did. Just chin him. Just chin the drug tester. seems to be something where I'm like, who was that? Who was it?
He was in Lee as well.
He was in Lee, yeah, that's right. I'm racking your brain. That's it, Sam Barlow. Oh, he's such a level-headed individual. Right, staying with Wakefield then, Wakey winger Tom Johnston has signed a new contract to stay with the club until the end of 2020. He's a 20-year-old himself, and his existing contract had been set to expire at the end of 2018. Tom's had a fantastic year, he's still learning, and hopefully will become a much better player over the next 4 years, head coach Chris Chester said. Great piece of business, even though he was on a relatively long-term deal. Anyway, get him tied in for more, and when the inevitable happens and a big club comes knocking, if he progresses the way he has been doing, then bit of brass coming Wakefield's way.
Well, they're upping his, obviously, they'll be upping his salary in this as well, and reflecting his position within the squad. Within that, he'll become maybe like the senior winger sort of thing next year, when you think other people will be dropping out of the squad like Craig Hall.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, and good luck to him.
Good player though.
Yeah, fantastic talent.
To have him on board for a long. If they can tie down similar situations with people like Jowett and Crowther, and that's their youth system starting to bear some sort of fruit, which we hadn't seen since probably the late 90s, early 90s, with people like Westwood and Ellis and Atkins. No, Atkins came through your system, didn't he? Westwood and Ellis and people like that. Yeah, absolutely. I just wish that Sky would be a bit more enthusiastic about Tom Johnston, and I'd particularly like to know what Phil Clark thinks of him, because
I'm in the dark on that one.
Well, Wakefield get very, very little coverage, so when they
do get it, good lord,
the rest of the team still get very little coverage.
Okay, England forward Brett Ferries has signed a new contract with the Leeds Rhinos that will keep him at the club until the end of 2019. Ferries joined Leeds from Huddersfield for an undisclosed fee in January. I thought he joined for cheating on his missus, and has made 19 appearances this season. The 30-year-old had been at the Giants since 2012, having previously played for Castleford, Wakefield and Bradford.
Well, fees weren't the only thing he wasn't disclosing around that time.
There we go. Hey. But let's give him credit. He's done all right in a Leeds jersey, hasn't he?
Well, we'll find out later. But he's a good player.
Yeah, absolutely. Bradford owner Mark Green says the club plan to remain as a full-time operation despite missing out on the middle eights this year. Green released a lengthy statement on Tuesday evening that confirmed these intentions. Yeah, it was quite something, and the plot has thickened quite significantly since all that stuff last Tuesday as well.
Well, part of the statement was defending what was his role, chief exec?
Yeah.
Ferris.
Yeah.
Steve Ferris, is it? That's the one. Not Brett, who we spoke about.
Not Brett.
Steve Ferris. And part of it was defending him, wasn't it? As well as having a go at all the fans for choosing to drink their beers in their locals rather than the stadium. But
look, don't reduce it like that, because you know fine well what the conversation we had in the car was on Friday. Don't do that. Don't be naughty.
But yeah, how do you feel about all these sorts of? Well, first of all, how do you feel about the statement? Do you put any weight behind it? Because to me, it was like I believe we will continue. It wasn't like we definitely can. It was we really want to. We need your buy-in to do it, though.
Yeah, I feel like it was a sensible businessman moving to calm the waters around his asset, basically, and to avoid too much destabilisation. There's a lot of backstory going on with Mark Green, which I don't propose to rattle on about too much, because it's boring unless you're a Bulls fan, really. But his other businesses are in trouble as well. It would seem there's a £4 million tax bill or debt that he's accrued with another company that he's no longer a part of, and there's all sorts of stuff going on there. So it seems like he might just have moved to kind of calm the waters. But then obviously with Ferries leaving and rumours knocking around on social media that the players haven't been paid, that the RFL's welfare lady was in talking to the players today, according to the guy that writes for the Telegraph and Argus. So there's a lot of stuff up in there that I don't really have any answers for, except to say it's frustrating as a Bulls fan to see this happening again. Once every 18 months or so, we seem to be heading down the Swanee again. So I'll just wait and see what happens. I'm completely unenthused by it. I lack the passion to kind of go through this another time. I just guess, like I said to you, if they reform or if they go bust, we'll have to see. But until that point, who knows, really? They're not very forthcoming on the club. That's the other side of it. The rumour or the conversation was that Steve Ferris was meant to be retiring at the end of the year anyway, and he's just brought it forward. Yeah,
so that the team can plan for the future on a different strategy, I suppose.
Yeah,
that they're going to have to face.
We
had a couple of tweets about it.
Yes,
Paul Campbell got in touch. He said it's out of order from the fans abusing a stakeholder. Believe in your chairman, coach, and players. Keep the faith. I think that's more of the criticism aimed at Ferris, I suppose, is what he's getting at there.
Yeah, that's it.
Because there's a lot of fan criticism over him for not bringing in the sorts of players that the fans expected. But when you go on the Bulls forums, the fans seem to expect that they can still sign world-class players.
I think it depends whose post. I think it depends whose posts you're reading. There's not a lot of, from what I see on like Red, Amber and Black and stuff, there's not a lot of craziness going about. People might get a bit carried away, but
all I think of is that guy who's like, but Grandad, we're rubbish now.
Yes,
just face it.
On the terraces, yeah, that was pretty funny. But that was more a comment on the team that was out on the. Listen, I'd take the team that was on the field that day. I'd take that with some of the players because that was a squad that had Luke Gale in it. That was a squad that had Manaka Foa in it. So
Tom Hodgson got in touch as well. He said, "Just read the statement. Blaming the lack of money on fans for not drinking at the club is ridiculous. Very bitter."
Yeah, well, we don't all have. I
think that was a joke.
I know it's very good, but I'm just I'm not in the mood. We don't all have.
You're not in the mood for Dom's stand-up.
We don't. No, I'm sure Dom's stand-up comedy. Dom's comedy is sensational, but no, we don't benefit from having the wealthy backer that some clubs do have. So
okay.
There you go, so all will be revealed. Speaking of clubs with a wealthy backer, Warrington Wolves confirmed that back rower James Laithwaite and halfback Gary Wheeler will leave the club at the end of the season and join Toronto. Laithwaite is 24 and is a product of the club's academy system, having played his amateur rugby for Crossfields. He made his first team debut in 2013 and has gone on to play 50 times for the Wolves. Wheeler is 20